On today's episode, I'm talking with Helen. She's a great UX and UI designer, and she's a very successful UpWork freelancer. And even though a lot of people think that UpWork is just for cheap client and it's a problematic platform, she has made over tens of thousands of dollars on the platform, and we're going to go deep into the platform, how to succeed on it, what's the tricky part that you need to be worried or careful about, and how to get started. So stay tuned for this amazing conversation with Helen. Enjoy. Hey Helen, what's up? Thank you so much for coming on the show and
Thank you
sharing
for
some of your
having me.
knowledge. So what we want to discuss on this conversation is working on Upwork, something that I don't have much experience with as a designer. I'm hiring a lot of people on Upwork, and I'm actually paying like thousands of dollars for freelancers that I'm hiring. But I think there is, and we had this conversation before, a lot of designers think that Upwork is so bad, you can't find good clients there. And I know that you had some good experiences in finding good clients there. So this is what I want us to talk about. I think
Okay.
let's start with where you are right now and how you're working and using the platform right now, and then maybe later talk about how you got started and how
Okay.
you understand which one is a good client or not.
Right. So right now, Upwork is extremely easy for me because I don't look for clients. I don't bid for jobs, and most of the clients that I have during the last 6 months, I guess, they come to me themselves. I presume that is connected with the fact that my profile is top rated. And I have earned more than 40K on the platform, and I have a lot of hours built. And so the profile is has grown up. And
Can you explain what top-rated profile is for people who don't know?
okay, so on Upwork, you either are basic profile, so you just a profile, or you are a rising star, and this is given to people who have just started, but they had couple of contracts. They have a little mark with a star that says rising star. I'm not sure what exactly it gives. It just marks you as a beginner, but the person who has already completed some work. And you can be top rated, but in order to become top rated, you need to have 100% score. It means that all feedback that you have received is only 5-star, or if you ever got 4-star, you need to have a lot of 5-star feedback. So the average is the 5-star. Did you get the point, right?
Yeah, I get it. And I know from my experience, when I am looking to hire people on the platform, I always sort by only give me people with like 90% and more success rate, and
Yeah.
people who have, I'm actually filtering if like, give me only people who already made like 100K on the platform, because I know they're probably giving good service, otherwise they wouldn't be there. Which is
Yeah.
also, by the way, as you've just mentioned, that it shows that if they have this kind of a filtering for above 100K, it means a lot of people are making money on the platform.
Right. So, yeah, 100K, that's a lot. I mean, okay. So,
Yeah, they have this filter like when you search for people, just
it's,
show me
I
only
think,
people who made
Ran, it's
100K.
10K, because if you look at the Upwork, there are like only 10% of freelancers on Upwork have made 10K on the platform. It's like
Oh, really?
there are millions of freelancers, and most of them did not survive, on the platform, because it really takes a lot of time, and to be honest with you, unpaid, like underpaid work. So
Even now, when you have an
no,
amazing
no, 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 no,
profile?
not now, not
Okay,
now,
so
but.
what?
So coming back to your question, right now it's very easy because I'm top rated. But if I want to finish that off in terms of the top rated, so you need to have 13 weeks of 100% success score. I think it's 95 plus. I just had 100 during the 13 weeks. And you need to
Nice.
work on Upwork during those 13 weeks. So I had 3 weeks off during the year. So like I had to have the 100% rating during 16 weeks. Just because I had a break. But it
so
may
if you take a
sound
break, you lose the top rated
no,
thing?
you don't have it until you have survived through the 95% plus success score, 13 eligible weeks. It's very complicated to understand, but to be frank with you, it's you can just ask support and they will explain. And yeah, it has to happen within 1 year, so you can't have like 95 plus success score during 2 weeks this year and then 6 weeks in 2021, and then they're not summing up, so it's within a year.
Got it. Okay, so now life is beautiful. You're top rated. Clients are coming at your door, want to pay you for a great client, for great work. So maybe we'll talk about how you got there. Like,
Yeah.
how did that happen?
So
How long it took you to do this?
I'm on UpWork since 2014, and
Okay.
it took me a while. I mean, I was not doing logos for $50, just to give an idea that I was not so underpaid. But people do that. I think my first contracts were $250, $350.
For what? What kind of project?
I think that those were branding and graphic design and logos.
Oh, wow. So it is pretty underpaid.
Yeah, but you need to just remember that I live in Eastern Europe, where a great salary is $1,500. I mean, a lot of people are dreaming about it. So for me to make a couple of gigs like that is okay. And I was like young. I was 20, 22. Yeah, I think 22 or 23. So I was kind of living with my parents, and it was okay for me. But moving further, after I quit my my office job, and it was at the end of 2018, I came back to UpWork, where I had only branding jobs done and some other graphic design jobs. So I had to start basically from scratch, and I was already in UI and UX for a while, so I had to do websites. And to be frank with you, I considered those contracts a little bit underpaid, because I just did it for the sake of getting the reviews and getting my
So wait, just to get to understand a little bit, when you say UI and UX, you want to do what I call product design work, right? To design products, dashboards, stuff like that. But to build your profile to reflect that you can do UX and UI job, you had to move from graphic design into web design just to build up the profile so you can get to the more, let's say, lucrative or better projects?
So the amount of web design work on Upwork is amazingly high. And the amount of, let's say, applications design work, software as a service, dashboards design is low. So in order to grab the client who is willing to pay for 3 months work while you're making product design for, I don't know, like some web application, you need to spend a lot of time, and during which you need to earn some money to live. So I took a web design. I don't really think that this is my favorite job, but I just had to do that in order to build my profile to the top rated. That's
great to know. I think a lot of people, me included, like to do web design. So what kind of web design project were you doing?
Oh, I had one French guy who had a website for his art promotion related services. I have and I still have this client from Ireland. I did so many websites for him, but they only needed like a couple of pages, and most of the time they don't need the mobile versions, they only need the HD, so it was pretty easy. basically, I think, Ren, it's because I know how to sell myself.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about that. At that point, you said now you're not bidding on projects anymore because people are coming to you. But when you came back to Upwork and try to move into the web design space, were you bidding on projects?
Yes.
How do you win when you bid on projects? I mean, I know that I'm creating a project. I'm going to get like 10 proposals. I can say like how I hire, but what was your strategy for selling yourself?
So first of all, I bought the premium profile. This was
What does that
done.
mean?
Premium gives you 70 connections per month. You need to have connections in order to bid for jobs. And one job costs you from 2 to 6 connections these days. Previously, it wasn't like that. I don't really remember how it was before, but right now, 70 connections, if you're bidding for jobs that cost you 6 connections, let's say, it's a lot. So you don't
So
really
you pay money, even if you're not going to get the job, just to bid on the project, you're actually paying money.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And do you know
how
what
much
people...
how much is that? Just out of curiosity.
I have $15, I think, the premium cost
Okay,
me.
so $15.
Yeah,
Okay.
it previously was 12, I think, but it was a long time ago. So so this is constructed like this. If you have free profile, you only have 20 connections at the start when you register. Once they're gone, you need to buy connections in order to bid for jobs. So what's the point? If I pay premium, I get 70 connections per month and I can transfer them for up to 3 months. So for now, I have like 200 connections because I don't use them. So you bid for jobs, and if somebody replies to you or you get the job, that's not what you pay. You pay like 20% from first $500 earned from the client, and then you pay 10% from all the money you've earned from one client, from $501 up to $10,000. So you can imagine why the Upwork community totally hates the new fees system, because the fees are incredibly high. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people from developed countries don't want to go for Upwork, because you can imagine how much they lose on the way. So from Upwork, and then the taxes. So what do they get? I mean, half. So it's pretty complicated. So yeah, I think I
want to go
stepped
back
away.
into you saying, I totally understand that. Even though at the end of the day, you say it's still worth it for you now because you have clients just coming over. And I assume that now you can raise your prices. But you said that you knew how to sell yourself. So just starting out when you were bidding on projects. So how would you differentiate yourself or try to sell when you bid?
So first of all, I have a proposal document. This is a PDF that explains who I am, what software I use, what is my process of work in stages, what stages I consider optional and we can remove, what stages are mandatory and I'm not gonna refuse doing them. I'm explaining the terms of how I get paid, and I don't allow anybody to edit that at all. I'm super confident when I write and when I speak. And I think that confidence, even when I wasn't like very confident, I had like debts. So one could say that I should take any job, but no, I was still saying, I do this, I work like this, here's my process, here's the software that I use, I'm gonna hand off my designs in this method using InVision. Or I can use Zeppelin. So I have a PDF document that explains it all. And when you send something like this to a potential client, you already look more professional than, I'm not going to be afraid to say, like 80% of people on Upwork.
Yeah. Like you're not begging for work, but you're actually just saying, here's how I work. If you want to work together, if that works for you, let's do it.
Yes. Well, that's the first thing, the proposal. Second thing, which is maybe even more important than proposal, is how you write the cover letter.
Yeah,
So
this is so important.
when you bid to job, you have to do a little research. So if a client said his name at the very end, make sure you say, "Hi, John. Hi, Fred." I mean, this is so basic, but I had so many people asking me questions about how do I actually do that, and they don't understand that they need to read through all the description. Maybe on Upwork, people are putting some hidden stuff like, I'm sure you know about this, but when
Oh, I do this all the time. Because I get, again, when I create jobs,
Spam.
then I get like people who just do a copy paste. I know that this cover letter they don't give a fuck. They were just trying to bid on as many projects as possible. They're like, I asked for something and then they're giving me something completely different. They didn't even read it. So now I'm putting like this somewhere in the middle. I'm like, start your cover letter by saying whatever. Top of the morning to you, Ron, or something weird, so that if I see in the first sentence they didn't wrote this, I'm like, I know they didn't read through what I need. So it helps me filter out the people who are not in the details.
You are actually the client who I spoke about, I think it was on my Instagram. I said about it that clients are so fed up by you guys sending generic copy pastes of, "Hi, I'm ready to work together. Here is my portfolio." You haven't even read anything. And they put a little note at the end or in the middle somewhere, like, start your proposal, start your cover letter from these sentences, this word.
Yeah.
So we know that you have actually read, and I am really, really careful in reading the descriptions, because I want to build a specified cover letter, personalized cover
You
letter.
don't have like a template that you copy paste for every project or something.
Well, I have a template that says something like, to get to know me better, please find attached my proposal where you can see the methods of my work, the terms of my work, what software I use, etc., etc. So this is the only template that I have, because I don't want to write this message, like write this sentence every other time. Yeah, so...
What do you think about like asking clients on a call to learn more about the project? Like, I get a lot of people who are pitching me like, okay, I want to hear more about your project. Here's a link to my calendar. Let's get on a Skype or something like that. Do you do that?
No.
Yeah.
I don't do that because... So let me get it right. The best clients I got from Upwork are businessmen and CEOs of startups. I don't think that they have a lot of time to chat.
It's true. To me, it's pissing me off, actually.
See, you are a busy guy. You run a Flux, right? You do certain things you have side projects, you have client projects. And now you want somebody to do a pretty simple job. So what I do is I ask questions about the spec. If it wasn't attached, I would definitely ask, okay, can you please give me the spec, or at least a brief spec, because the next stage, I am writing the spec for my clients. So I work for, I think that's one of the reasons why I'm successful on Upwork. I take their spec, and before giving them proposal with the price, I rewrite their spec to make it detailed. This secures me from additional work, because I'm super detailed and I'm really boring. And this makes them understand that they will get exactly what is written in my spec.
Yeah.
So yeah, but coming back to your question, I never ask people to jump on a call with me unless they do it themselves. I only ask for the spec to give them a proposal.
And in terms of pricing, how do you think about do the projects already have a budget, or do you need to state in your proposal how much you want for it, hourly rate or fixed price? How do you think about that?
Right. So most of the projects on Upwork have dummy budgets. even if they say they're gonna ready to.
What does that mean? Dummy budget.
Dummy budget. Well, they say they want to build a dashboard web application, and they put like, I don't know, maybe $500. They usually say that a budget is a placeholder because they don't know how much it will cost, and they want people to give them an idea of how much it will cost.
Got it.
So you will never see a real budget there. And you worked, you were a client on UpWork, and you are a client on UpWork, and obviously there are a lot of people like you, even if they are prepared to pay, I don't know, something, why do they need to reveal this if they can check out how many people are going to try to deliver the service, which will cost, I don't know, maybe 20% less than they expect. It's business at the end of the day. So
right.
Most of the budgets are dummy budgets. But when client has not given me anything detailed yet, and they are like pushy about getting to know what kind of budget I think I have in mind, how much it will cost when they work with me, and you can only do this when you have experience. So I have like from to. So I did a similar job for a similar industry or with a similar amount of like functions, let's say, for this amount of money, like from to. And if they're comfortable with this range, they will say, okay, let's move on. And I think this is a good thing for any freelancer to do. If you're struggling to understand if client is real and if he's prepared to pay some real money, not like underpay you, like a lot of people try to underpay freelancers on UpWork or Fiverr, just shoot off with this range right away. Saves a lot of time. I mean, saved so much time for me.
Got it. Okay, so let me ask you about the reviews, the like 100% satisfaction 5-star reviews, which you say is critical to getting into the kind of the top performer. Why? What do you think it takes to get these? Because obviously not everybody has this, and I assume it correlates with what you said, like only 10% of the people are making the money on the platform. Probably only the 10% of the people get the good ratings. Why do you think you got them, or what did you do to get them?
Well, first of all, in order to get 5-star, there are 5 points, I think. I don't remember them, but you need to have a good communication with the client. So if they write you, respond. You need to have good English.
Sounds basic.
Sounds pretty basic, but like most of my clients said that they are returning to me because I stick to deadlines. If I say 15th, that's going to be ready on the 15th. And I have only broke this rule once. Last week, my Mac got broken, so I couldn't, so I had to extend my deadline to 2 days. So,
but you told them? You let them know that this happened?
Yeah. They're not from UpWork. A lot of people are migrating from UpWork to work directly after you build a relationship on UpWork. But we can talk about it in a second. So in order to have 5-star reviews every single time, you need to be a good communicator, you need to have a great English, you need to understand what people are saying. That's pretty basic, but a lot of people on UpWork have pre-intermediate, intermediate English, which is called basic, I think.
Did you do UpWork's English tests or something like that, so it would state in your profile that you have
mean
good
nothing.
English?
Tests mean absolutely nothing. So those tests have not changed since UpWork was Odesk. The Photoshop test is just insanely old, and nobody's taking them anymore.
Got it.
I'm saying about good English because, personally, I had like specialized school when I was a child. I finished it. I had 12 English lessons per week, and then I had like a great teacher in my university, and she made me.
Is most of the communication written communication or on calls or?
That's a good question. I have one client who I've never seen, but I have done a lot of small jobs for him, and I was pretty okay with that. But most of clients want to see you. They want to jump on a Skype or Zoom call, even if you don't see them, or they're fine without a video. They want to hear you. They want to, they want to meet you somehow. So writing is probably in 80% not going to be enough.
Got it.
So yeah.
Okay.
What was I saying? So
we were talking about what it takes
stars.
to get the 5 stars, and you said communication and understanding English, obviously.
Setting the expectations
else?
right. And this is where proposal and cover letter, and then proposal when you bid for bid the price and write the spec comes into play. Set the expectation right with your client, and you will get 5 stars. So if you don't
Expectation in terms of deadlines or
in terms of what
exactly
exactly he is going to get, what will be the deliverables. Maybe he is expecting to have a super cool animated After Effect prototype put on a, I don't know, they can expect anything. They might see something on Dribble and think that all designers are doing this and are aware how to prototype in After Effects and make these lovely videos with the interface. And you don't do that. Well, I don't do that, let's say. So I know that my deliverables are A, B, C, D, E, F, blah, 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 and I say that. So on the first stage, we will do this. Then we will approve this. Then we move to the next stage, and so on and so forth. So this is what I call set the expectations right. And obviously, deadlines. If I say that something's going to take 2 weeks, it's going to take 2 weeks. Not 3, not 4.
Got it. What else is a factor? So we know good communication, setting to the expectations correctly. Obviously good work, but I assume that goes without saying.
Obviously good work. And recently I had, it was not even an issue, but some people are not really experienced clients on UpWork. They don't really understand how payment is handled by UpWork. So when you ask them to fill the milestone, make sure you mention that it doesn't mean that they're paying you right now. So let's say I need to. Oh, I'm not even sure how to explain it, because I don't know if people are aware about milestone structure on Upwork and stuff like that. So when if you're working through Upwork, I will be very sure. If you are working through Upwork, you know how the payment is handled. Clients might not understand how payments are handled. Clients might not understand that in fixed price projects, you might have a couple of milestones, 3, 2, 4, 5. And in order for you to feel secure and start work, you need them to, let's say, fill and release prepayment. So you have a prepayment, right? But for the client, it's not just fill the milestone. He needs to release the prepayment, so you have the money. Then he needs to immediately fill the next milestone, so you could start to work. But it doesn't mean that he's paying you. And we as freelancers need to explain to clients why it works like this and how they are secured. Maybe they haven't read the frequently asked questions on Upwork. And I had a client like this. She was confused when I asked her to release the milestone right away. And she's like, no, we're not doing this. You need to get the job done. And I'm like, oh, geez. That's probably the first one, but it gave me a lesson. And I explained how it works, and we were like perfectly fine. I got my 5-star review at the end, so not a problem.
Yeah, I can say from my experience when I was recently hiring that I really didn't understand how to set up correctly the milestones and everything. And actually the person that I was working with, he was like, hey, we were on the call. He was like, let me help you and do this, share your screen. And he was like, click here, this is what you need to do. He really helped me to set this up because as you said, it might be a little bit confusing. There's something that's called escrow, which means first, you as the client, you move the money into UpWork. They're holding it for you until the freelancer actually does the work and only then you release it. So it's kind of like a two-step, like you've said it, and it can be a little bit confusing. So yeah, helping your clients understand and work through that is a good experience, I can say, as like hiring.
See, and it's a good client service. So you kind of, people are going to come back to you just because you once helped them understand how the platform works. Just a lot of people said thank you for this, and I'm sure if I was a client and somebody would help me do something, I was not even asking for it, but I got it. This is a good client service, right?
Right. Yeah. I think in general in freelancing, a lot of designers miss the importance of giving good service. And it's especially true when you're working on a platform like this, when the competition is very visible and a lot of them, as you said, they don't care too much. They're just sending it. So if you give good service, you're getting kind of an extra point.
Yeah.
So what would you say is like the process if I wanted to start today on UpWork? Would you recommend me to start today on UpWork?
It's a tricky question. For me, it's the trickiest question.
I know
because I know what it takes to grow there, and it takes really like a lot of time. I think it's maybe for a lot of people it's too much time. Well, first of all, I think that
as an initial investment to build your profile, credibility, reviews, all that stuff.
Yes, I mean, the initial months that you might take to find the first client, the money that you're going to spend on the premium profile or on connections in order to bid for jobs, the hours which are going to be not paid at all, where you will read all the like frequently asked questions or the articles, write your proposal, try to understand how to write cover letters better, and then you will not get a first client who is going to pay you $1,000. Simple as that. People who are ready to pay that filter as you ran. They go to a filter and they filter through people who have 90% score or higher. They have worked for 1,000 hours already or more, and they've earned like $10K or more. And people who are starting on UpWork don't fall into this category.
Yeah.
So
you have to do the dirty work.
You have to do the dirty work. Yeah. Yes, and not all people will go through it and they will be happy. I think that I can recommend UpWork for people from developing countries. I don't want to say that I don't recommend it for people from UK or US. I am pretty sure that there are a lot of successful people from there on UpWork. But the thing is that the fees are so high, and the amount of time that it takes to grow your profile is high too. And then you have the extremely high tax rates. I'm not sure what kind of tax rates you have, but the tax rate that I have is 5% income tax.
5%?
Yeah.
Mine is 50.
So, if I can make a website for $1,000, how much tax would I pay? Like, come on. And this is why a lot of people cannot bid less than certain amounts, because they understand that they will only have 90% from it after UpWork extracts the fees, and then they will have to pay tax. And what is it they got at the end? So
I understand.
it
But I think, again, from my experience, I didn't offer my services, but I hired my best example is I've hired a copywriter, which is actually based in Sweden. So, and she wasn't cheap at all. Um, and I don't think she had much experience on the platform. I think I was like the third or fourth client of her. But she did have a great cover letter, and she had really good examples of work, which were exactly what I needed. So I hired her, and as you said, this became kind of a long-term relationship that already left Upwork. And I think that in a lot of cases as a freelancer, you have kind of a graph that goes up that you do initial work with a client, but the value is actually in the long term. After they get to trust you, after they get to work with you, they start to pay you more money. They don't micromanage you. They trust your proposals. They don't negotiate everything. And you've mentioned that it works for you the same way. Like you move to long-term relationship off Upwork, right?
I never ask clients to do that myself because you know that Upwork is looking through all our messages. And
Yeah.
if I will offer that there, they can just block me. And for me, the
Yeah,
value
of
of my
course.
profile was way, way higher than for clients, the value of his profile. So if they want to do that, they usually say it on Skype or on calls, something like that. But obviously they want to have some work completed already, and then
Yeah.
they think if they want to go for working with you directly. Yeah, so most of the clients, they are ongoing and they want to, migrate from Upwork, because I think on client side there are some fees as well which they don't like. I'm not sure how much they
Yeah.
have to pay.
I had experience where people that I worked with, they told me, look, this is my fee. Upwork is taking 20%, so I'm going to have to add it to this fee. This is just like how it's going to work. And I said, okay, I mean, it is what it is. So basically they were start to think about what they want to make and then understand, not like saying this is what I'm going to make, I'm going to get 80%, but actually say I'm going to add Upwork's fee on top of it.
Never
And
say
make
that.
it clear to the client. You
I
don't
would
say that?
never, ever, ever I would say that, okay, this costs this amount of money, but I will have to add the Upwork fees up and you will have to pay this. Why would you ever say that? I mean, say what you want to get. Extract the fees for yourself and then you understand how much you will get at the end. Why do you need to break this down for the client? If that's too expensive for him, that will be too expensive for him anyway.
Yeah. No, maybe maybe I don't remember the situation, but maybe it's true. Maybe they wanted me to get me out of Upwork. So they were like, "Oh, if this is what you're paying, but if we're working through Upwork, it's going to be a little bit more expensive."
Maybe,
I
not
don't
sure.
remember the story
But
anymore.
how did you find that woman from Sweden? If you are only like filtering for people who worked for a long time and earned a lot of
I
money,
think it was that rising star thing, maybe. Perhaps, yeah. Perhaps she got that right. It's a good question. I think she had that rising star thing, because otherwise she didn't make a lot of money on the platform when we were talking.
maybe they
Yeah.
push rising stars a little bit up so they get more chances to.
Yeah, you can filter what you can filter. I mean, when I'm doing my filtering, there's also a checkbox, also allow for rising stars, and I allow that. So
Ah, okay, yeah. So
I
this is
guess
how
that's
you got.
why I said.
I understand.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think similar to what you said, when I see some people that I think might be a good fit, I actually go into a kind of an interview where I talk to people and I get to see who they are. And actually, when I didn't do this, I also had bad experiences. Like people I've sent a down payment, like the first payment, and then people were like literally gone.
Through
And
Upwork?
it's still yeah, on Upwork, and it was really weird, but Upwork protects me so I can get my money back, but it was still like a bad experience. But yeah, I think there's there's a lot of trash on Upwork, I think, from both sides.
Yeah.
Trash clients and trash
Freelancers.
freelancers. But I think that if you learn how to filter from both sides, then it can be a good platform for maybe lead generation. And what you said about the cost, I do understand, but I'm looking at it from like a business owner perspective. You have to, some people pay for Facebook ads to get clients. And so you can say, he paid me X, but I also spend that much money on ads, so you can deduct it. I mean, that's the cost of doing business. So in this case, you pay your lead generation to Upwork, but in other cases, I mean, if you go to an event to meet clients, you pay for the event. I mean, in any way, you have a cost of running a business. So I think as long as at the end of the day, you're making enough money to support yourself, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm totally satisfied, and mostly because the better clients get, the higher the chances that they're gonna ask you to move away from Upwork and send you the official contract, and you send them official invoices. How easy is that? And you don't have to pay those fees, but you need to be careful with offering that to the client. Let the client offer this.
So you've mentioned to me that you're now doing the TopTal tests, right?
Right. You're not the only one who asks me about it. I think a lot of people are interested.
Yeah.
I told you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Apologies. So what I decided to do is I was fed up by trashy clients on Upwork. Because in the days where I really look for something, I set my profile to available more than 30 hours per week. And on high season, I get a lot of incoming leads. And I need to filter through all of them. Eventually, the budget is so low, I don't want to even take it. It's too low. And once upon a time, I was just really, really, really fed up. I was in a bad mood, and I said to myself, okay, I need to make a research and check what is there apart from Upwork, but something more maybe serious, not like a Fiverr. And I just found TopTal, and there was application process. And I was like, okay, nobody's gonna make me do that in 3 weeks. They said that you can pass one part, and then if you are not ready to pass another part, you can tell to the manager, that the recruiter or whoever they are, you can just say, okay, I can't do this week, let's move it further away. So it took me, I don't know, maybe 2 months to get through. Yeah, because I was busy working, and I just, can't, do the 4-step process in a month, unfortunately. No, it's fortunately, I'm busy.
Yeah. It's good. It sounds good.
So once you go through the process of proving that you are the pro, you have portfolio, you have good English skills, etc., you find yourself in Upwork-ish environment. You still have to bid for jobs if you want to get jobs, but I have just passed those tests and I am in. So I signed documents, I have filled my profile, it got approved, and I filled the portfolio. So once you go through the process, you have to still bid for jobs, but you can also be invited by recruiters. So on TopTal, they have recruiters who try to match freelancers with potential clients.
And those are, let's say, higher paying clients than Upwork, usually.
I assume. I have not worked through TopTal yet.
Got it.
So they have 3 types of jobs. First one is full-time. So you can say, my rate is 50 per hour. And if somebody is going to hire you full-time, you can calculate how much you will earn, right?
Yeah.
Part-time. This is 4 hours per day. Same calculation applies. Or hourly. arrangement. So you can say my rate is this, and if somebody hires you hourly, you will get paid. I know that TopTal probably adds up a little bit to the freelancers' rates, and this is how they earn their money, because the recruiters are not people from a site, they are employees of TopTal.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I assume the clients are paying more there, but the fact is that I haven't started. I got
it. You're still in the process.
Yeah, I have so much work to do, hopefully in March. But I'm saying this since January, to be frank.
So why are you even looking at a different platform? I mean, if you're so busy.
I live in a very unexpected country, so I am very cautious every step of the way. I don't think that everything I have now will last forever. So I need to understand that maybe then all the clients that I have at the same time will want to take a break. Can be. So I will be left without work. So I need to think about this, maybe TopTal, maybe LinkedIn lead generation. I need to spread myself everywhere. Otherwise, you can be left without anything.
I think that's a good strategy. By the way, do you have your own kind of website, portfolio website besides UpWork?
Of course.
And people get to you or like organically?
Through my website, no. They get through LinkedIn. Some of them get through LinkedIn because I post sometimes on LinkedIn, and you know that the feed on LinkedIn is constructed differently from Instagram. You really get noticed on LinkedIn, so I would definitely recommend every designer to have some activity.
Yeah. I just got started on LinkedIn as well.
That's a good thing. I mean, I don't have like a lot of clients there, but sometimes they come and they're like, they don't know what is UpWork. They don't know what does it mean to make people underpaid. And it's a good idea. So LinkedIn, maybe TopTal, maybe something else. There are a lot of I think there will be a lot of new platforms for freelancing, just because UpWork is having a piss with their fees. I think something will appear in the coming years, maybe year. You never know.
So would you recommend a new designer? Let's say you're from a developer country, or maybe even not a developing country. Would you recommend them to start doing that hard work to build that profile, or look for something else? Like, what's your bottom line on this? You're obviously you're in a good situation right now, but if you were starting from scratch,
I would definitely recommend UpWork or any freelancing platform to anyone who is starting, because you will put the effort from the start anyway. Whether you're going to try to generate leads through LinkedIn or UpWork, or you will be writing direct emails, you anyway need to have proposal. You anyway need to know how to write cover letters. You anyway need to know how to present yourself. So you're basically not losing anything via trying UpWork out.
Thank you so much, Helen. I think that was super, super useful and helpful. Thank you for coming on the show, and good luck with everything. Everybody go follow Helen on Instagram, on YouTube, on LinkedIn. All the links are going to be below this video, and we're going to probably see a lot more of you. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Ren.